We are in the generation of accountability. And I just wanted to start off by saying, due to the comments as far as us, prepping up for the Fantastic Four, I don't know if I said anything negative about the movie before it came out, but if I did, I just wanted to say, hey, I was wrong. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah. Before I give my comment, excuse me if my voice sounds off a little rough. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm here. But I'm definitely gonna admit when I'm wrong. I'm a bigger man, bro. I'm definitely was. I'm not gonna lie. I was hating. I was speculating a lot of negative things walking in here, and I'm not gonna lie. When I left the theater the other day, I was satisfied. I was definitely wrong.
You were satisfied?
I was satisfied.
In one of the trailers, well, they gave out the Rotten Tomatoes. I think it was like an 82 or something like that. But the narrator in there was like, critics call it the live action Incredibles. Would you agree with that?
Damn. I didn't hear that part, but okay. I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give their narrator that. Yeah, it did. It definitely felt like a live action Incredibles.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the synopsis of this movie. Excuse me. Which this movie for didn't take place in the 616. It took place on Earth on Earth 828 in the 1960s, and this movie picks up 4 years after the Fantastic Four went into space and got their powers. And we start off with Reed and Sue revealing that they are going to have a baby, and a few months later, the Silver Surfer arrives and says that the Earth has been marked for destruction by Galactus, and the team decides to go into space to try to negotiate with the Galactus as far as saving Earth, and Galactus offers to spare Earth in exchange for Reed and Sue's unborn child, which he senses power, and he basically uses his own power to induce Sue into labor while they're still in space, and Sue gives birth in space on their way back to Earth, fleeing Galactus as they decline Galactus's offer to give up the unborn child for the fate of Earth. Now, Reed comes up with a plan trying to teleport Earth into another galaxy light years away from the original galaxy that Earth is sitting in, just to get away from Galactus. As he advises this with the rest of the Earth, so this gets interrupted by Silver Surfer. She destroys all the bridges where they can't end up getting that plan executed. And the next plan ends up being using Franklin, which is Sue and Reed's baby, as bait to lure Galactus in Times Square, where they have a teleportation device in Times Square to teleport Galactus into a different galaxy. And that plan ends up failing, which I'm going to get to in a second. And Sue ends up using her invisible powers as Galactus tries to take the baby and forces Galactus into the portal. And Shalabal, which is the Silver Surfer, she sacrifices herself by launching herself into Galactus, and they both end up getting consumed by the portal and get thrown into the void. Sue using all of her powers, exhausts herself using her powers. She ends up dying, and Reed sets Franklin on her chest, and he ends up reviving her, and we celebrate Fantastic Four saves the day.
It sounds amazing, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm definitely gonna. How do I say this, y'all? It's a great time to be an MCU fan again. Like they did it. I'm speechless when I left the movie theater, and on how incredible this movie was. Like, the cast was amazing, the script was amazing, even the CGI was amazing, and the introduction of a new universe, the 828, which is actually Jack Kirby who created the Fantastic Four, and that's actually his birthday, hence why they called that universe the 828, which is a homage to the late Jack Kirby. and also his boy, Stan Lee, for writing the stories for the first family in the MCU. It was amazing, bro. They did it, bro. I, I'm not gonna stop saying it, bro. They did it. It's back. The MCU's back. If they're gonna keep making bangers like this, they got a bright future going ahead with them. Most definitely.
I'm gonna just ask you: do you? I'm not movie aside. Just movie aside. Are they a better Fantastic Four than the original four that we got in the 2000s?
Yes, most definitely, hands down.
All four?
All four. Like I said, like I can admit when I'm wrong, bro. I was sitting here looking at this cast because I did say that this cast was kind of whack, but going into the movies and watching their chemistry, how they all interacted with each other, they are a family, bro. They need each other. And one of the best parts I love about this movie was that everybody fit. Nobody had more screen time than the other. There was nobody trying to claim rank or leadership in the role. Everybody commanded the group. Like, it was a give and take relationship, and everybody knew where they stand. That's a family. Yeah, they're gonna fight and bicker, but that's part of it. You know what I mean?
Right. I wanted to put the microscope on Johnny because when the Silver Surfer first came to Earth, he began to pursue her, and she said something to him in her language. And before she even showed up, they started hearing some anomalies in space, and Johnny and Reed both heard it, and there was like multiple recordings of it. And then when Johnny heard her speak, he was able to translate it, and then he was able to turn around and speak the language, which I feel like growing up watching Johnny Storm, he wasn't exactly the most intelligent character in the Fantastic Four. But I will say I did like the fact that they got Johnny involved in some intellectual way.
I see where you're coming with, and I agree with you. It was nice to see him like have some shine, not just playing like this buffoon playboy idiot. And he did something humble, bro. He told Silver Surfer Shia LaBeouf that he would give up his life in order for his nephew. And I didn't see that coming, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, bro, he was willing to just give it up like that. He was like, no, bro, I'm not letting my family die, bro. Nah, take me instead.
Did he seem a little bit too humble to you for Johnny Storm? I don't want to nitpick it, but did he seem just a little too humble?
I don't know about too humble, but he was humble.
He was humble, like a mature Johnny Storm. Like, again, this is a humble Johnny Storm that I'm not used to, where we see him, Johnny Storm, in previous movies, previous iterations, where extremely cocky, very selfish, and a womanizer. That's basically what Johnny was. And I feel like they took away the womanizer part in this movie to an extent. Like, there are references to it where he tried to tell the rest of the family, like, look, she spoke to me. She said this to me. And then they was like, yeah, we believe you. You think that she's hot. We got it. But outside of that, really, there was no other, female interactions for Johnny Storm in this movie.
Yeah, I see what they did. Like, what they did was not, they kind of made this like a PG-13, and they stuck with it. They didn't want to make it, they didn't want to go out the element. It is the first time we're getting the family, so you didn't want to make him seem like he was too much of a playboy, which I'm okay with, bro. Maybe we progress going forward with the new universes in the multiverse, and he'll start becoming more of a womanizer. I'm okay with him not being a womanizer too. I'm cool with it. I could see, I did like him as the Human Torch. He fit the role, and I was shocked by it. And I could see him being really cool with Tom Holland going forward, being pals with Spider-Man, because in the comics they are pals.
So I'm gonna just go ahead and start off by giving my first negative to the movie, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So when they came back from trying to negotiate from Galactus, so they had that emergency press conference as soon as they got off the ship. I'm sorry, bro. The way Reed he told the world that we could not negotiate with. Well, we couldn't accept Galactus's terms as far as a negotiation by giving up their child. I feel like that's just a lack of leadership, bruh. You don't say nothing like that. Like, the first things first, you don't cause a panic. Like, we spoke to Galactus and we didn't defeat him, but he offers us an exchange for our unborn child. I mean, what? I'm just saying. You tell me if that just sounds crazy to you, because that's the only thing that really sounded crazy to me.
That's the part about Reed Richard, is that he may be the smartest man in the universe, but he's also awkward when it comes to, you know, presentation and stuff. And I did like it, bro. That was one of the things I did like, and I get it. Like, yeah, okay, nitpicking that, yeah, I get it. You're causing the whole world to panic. You're kind of, and it's crazy how like these, like the citizens of their planet were like, bro, give up the baby, bro. Like we gotta live. Like, I'm kind of like, would you really, if as a parent, would you really have given up your own child to save the world?
No, I wouldn't even have told them to put that much pressure on, because you got to think about it. If they didn't, you got to think Franklin is going to be like scolded upon for the rest of his life as he walks through the streets of New York or wherever he goes. It's like, oh, there goes that child that they didn't want to give up to Galactus. Like, you kind of put your child in harm's way by telling them that, yeah, we could have saved you. It's just, we're not going to give up our child. That's a selfish decision. Because if we think about it, we could go back and talk about the Spider-Man movie. What was the one that we saw? The Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes. Where Spider-Man wanted to go back in time and save Uncle Ben, but if he did do that, he would kill everybody else.
Yeah.
So isn't that kind of like the same thing?
I think so.
So I'm not saying that I would sacrifice my child. I'm just saying I would just keep that little bit of information to myself. I wouldn't be I wouldn't tell the freaking world that, yeah, we could save you. But we won't.
I get it, but at the same time, bro, remember, there's just moments right after they met Galactus and he's still in shock, because remember, they're not used to these cosmic beings. Remember, this is a cosmic being that they're looking at. They're like I'm a planet destroyer. I eat planets for a living, bro. Like, he figured it out real quick, and that's what I love about Reed Richard, bro. For the time period that they're at for 1960, he's too way advanced for what he's doing. And that's what I love about him. He's always working on new projects. That's what the comics is all about. That he's always working on something to keep him occupied. Also, too, remember, he has an unborn child. They're talking about, you got to give up your son because he has the cosmic
energy.
The cosmic energy. I feel like it's not the right term because but
he's
you
a
know
vessel that can absorb cosmic energy.
Yeah, and the crazy part is, like, what would you do? What would you have done in that scenario? You're like, this is like you're meeting a god or a godlike being, and you're just like stunned, like, bro, like he can just swing by whenever he feels like it, like it's advanced, and he just like, oh, I'm sorry, like we couldn't negotiate with Galactus. He wants my unborn son. I'm not giving him up, and he just causes a panic. And I get it, and that's one of the things with the news reporters too that I had a problem with. Is that, bro, like, y'all don't put yourselves first, but that's also the selfishness on ours. They're like, bro, this dude could come and destroy us. Like, you need to give up your kid. Like, bro, ain't nobody doing that.
Ain't nobody doing that until everybody's gonna sit there. Yeah, unless it's your child, ain't nobody doing it. But if you just me or you just sitting back and just looking at it like, yeah, you should give up that child to save us.
Which straight up selfish.
In a way, it will make human beings, pretty much selfish. But at the end of the day, I didn't like that concept because, to be honest, it was unnecessary to have in the movie. Unless you want to, put some type of conflict in there, but I didn't think that was necessary for the movie.
I get you, but I mean, I do think, because remember, they're public figures. They're not just humans. They are like one of the leaders of planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty crazy if you think about it.
All right, so for those that haven't been on the channel or have no experience with the Fantastic Four, please explain the importance of Galactus in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He is a god. He is a cosmic being that destroys planets. He is from the he is from a universe, one of the first universes that existed. He is centuries old, and the god Eternity granted him the cosmic powers that caused him to be Galactus. And one of his things is that he has to devour planets. It's basically like a self-proof plan. You have the Celestials creating planets, and then you need the balance in order to destroy them, and that is Galactus. And
Okay.
he hungers no matter what. That's one of the curses that he has with his powers, that he could not be satisfied with his hunger. He has to constantly keep eating, or otherwise he'll die. And one of the things about him is that Galactus is looking for a way out. Like, he's trying to figure out how to find someone to take over for him so he doesn't have to suffer eating. That's where Frank Richard gets involved in the picture, because he has the cosmic powers as well, and he believes that by taking this child he can give up his seat as Galactus and give it to this child so he can be at peace.
I see. Now let's put the microscope on the Silver Surfer, Shalabal. Now, she sacrificed herself by becoming Galactus's herald to save her own planet and her, I guess that's her child that she was running with on, I forgot what's the planet that she's from, you know, off the top of your head?
I don't remember the top of my head right now.
Okay, so I like that concept of it, where when Johnny, had the conversation with her, it's like, look, I just want to save Earth, and I know you had a planet that you decided to sacrifice yourself for, and it made it be relatable to her, where, wow, all he wants to do is protect his nephew, a baby, a child, and which led to her in the end sacrificing herself to stop Galactus to save Earth.
Yes.
So
in this universe, Shia LaBeouf was married to the original Silver Surfer, as we know. But in this universe, she took the mantle of Silver Surfer. She became Galactus's herald.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, as we're going forward in this movie, we find out through Reed Richards that she's been looking for planets. So basically, she was at first giving Galactus what he wants, and unfortunately, she was sacrificing a lot of lives to satisfy Galactus's hunger. And then later, we find out that the planets that she was getting rid of weren't inhabitable. They were empty planets.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, she brings Galactus to Earth because he is looking for Frank Richards, of course. But at this point, you could tell that's when Johnny Storm was figuring out what was going on, when he put her on blast, talking about, like, remember all the people you hurt? You had your own family. I'm trying to save my family like you saved your family. And that was deep. And that's another thing about this movie that I really love, that at times it got dark, but it had a storyline. Like they weren't shy to get into some deeper meaning into this movie. And that's what I really love. Like, it felt like we were watching like a Disney movie, but not really. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I loved about it. Like, they weren't shying away from the actual, like, discussions that they really needed to talk to. They were getting deep into this. Like, they got somewhat into the politics too. Of course, we got a hint of Liberia, which for most people who don't read the comics, that is the country that Victor Von Doom comes from, aka Dr. Doom.
Please elaborate on that Liberia, when they had that world leaders meeting and there was nobody there for representing Liberia.
I have some theories, and there's some theories going around about that too. Where was Victor at this point? As we know, this is not an origin story, so we go in 4 years after the Fantastic Four have been introduced to the 828. Mm-hmm. They have been 4 years as Fantastic Four, as the first family, and we get to see, like, through a cartoon illustration, who their enemies were. Mole Man was one. He was a pretty funny dude. That's a great actor too. I love him. and get to see who they were fighting. And we didn't see Doctor Doom into this, but it's implied that Doctor Doom does exist. So where was he? I don't know, but my theory might be maybe, just maybe, Doom was out there in the multiverse.
Okay, so you rewind where you said it was implied that he does exist in this universe. Where was the clue or Easter egg you felt like that he was in this universe?
The Liberia part when the United Nations were talking and he was missing. I'm not saying at first when I saw it I immediately was like Victor's in this universe, because it could have been a possibility that he doesn't exist yet.
Okay.
But I felt like they didn't just tease that just to tease Liberia exists, bro. Like I was like, it's Doom, bro. Doom. But where the fuck is Doom? That's what I was thinking to myself. Like, where is Doom? Why is he not here? And it could have also been like, he's probably like, I don't want to work with Sue Storm. Like, that's my best friend and rival's wife. And he probably was like, I don't work with the rest of y'all. Like, he's a dictator.
Right.
So I could assume that he was taking it like as bad blood, he's like, F y'all, like I don't, I'm not for y'all.
So you think they may have had encounters with each other already?
Yes. I believe they bested him a couple of times. 4 years is a long time.
But I just not to reference him at all in this Galactus thing is kind of
like, where was he at this point though? That's the point what I'm trying to say.
Like it's hard for him not to be involved with the world ending, So
facts. There were so many unanswered questions, bro.
As sophisticated as we thought this movie was gonna be, it was actually pretty simple.
It was. And this is one thing I want to state out there, that coming out of this movie theater, this is how you make a superhero movie, bro. This is how you make a story without having an origin story. And y'all can hate. Marvel got 2 out of 3 for the slate this year. And if you want to be honest with you, Marvel and DC, I'm going to just say 2-0. That's all I'm going to say.
So you said 2 out of 3 for Marvel this year. What was the third one? The third project?
Fantastic Four.
So Fantastic Four, and I'm probably saying Thunderbolts.
Captain America, Thunderbolts, or the New Avengers.
There was 3 movies. I totally forgot about that movie.
Mm-hmm. And those were bangers. Well, the first one, it was alright. But yes, the Thunderbolts didn't do as much. It didn't do well through the financially, the box office. But it was a great movie. I loved it. I think it was amazing. And in the Fantastic Four, that swept me away, bro.
All right, well let's get back. Let's get to the Thunderbolts, since we bought it up. Now we've got that post credit scene in the Thunderbolts where we had the Fantastic Four ship, but when we finished this movie of Fantastic Four, there was no reference to them being in that ship in that 616 universe. So predictions as far as that particular post credit scene when we watched this movie back in May.
Okay, my predictions, but also I just want to state out there, the rumors were through the internet that people believed that it wasn't the Fantastic Four in this ship. People were questioning, like, who else could be on that ship? And at first I was like, no, it had to be the Fantastic Four. But the rumor was that people thought it was Victor Von Doom on this ship. But as we know, like, to going back to what we were talking about the United Nations and Liberia and all that, I truly starting to think that it's not the Fantastic Four, bro. I think it's Victor Von Doom. Because this is where I'm going to go with it, because we got to go talk about the mid-credit scene.
Which one in this
for
movie?
For me to answer this, yeah, for this movie, for the
okay, let's explain the mid-credit scene
in the Thunderbolts. So we get in the mid-credit, because it's the mid-credit scene in the Fantastic Four, because the post-credit scene was after that.
Yeah. So
the mid-credit scene starts off where Sue Storm is reading a book to Frank Richards, and then he asks his mom that he wants his mother to read his favorite book. She gets up of the couch to go get his favorite book from the bookshelf, and as we see the camera turn to Sue picking out his son's favorite book, turns around and we see a glimpse of Dr. Doom talking to Frank Richards. We don't see the face, but we see the body. We see the armor. We see the cape. But the helmet's off. He never takes the helmet off because of the scars. He is self-conscious about the scars on his face, but he did it for Frank. This is so many. This is asking so many questions. Why did you do that? And where have you been? That's where it answers the question. Where has he been? He's been here. Has he been in his own universe? I don't think so. So my prediction is that that ship was Victor Von Doom, and I think him being there, talking to Frank, wasn't just to talk to Frank. I think he knows about Frank, well, prior because of the movie and all that. But I think he knew about Frank already, and I think he was there to hijack the ship because he found out that Reed Richards created a wormhole and is able to use the wormhole to travel to deep into space. Which, what's stopping him from using the ship or the wormhole into a multiverse?
Can we do that with that wormhole?
I think so, because I believe that was hinted in the movie. He never stated that you could do that, but remember when he was talking to the kids on the TV show about blowing stuff up, he was writing that there are wormholes that could connect to multiple universes, and I think that's where the hint is. I think he was working on that. On the low, we didn't really get too much of it, but I think he was, as he was dealing with all this bullshit, deep in his head, he's probably like, I think I can cross the multiverse. As we know from Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, that the Reed Richards from I forget the name of the universe now. But you know what I'm saying. In that multiverse, that Reed Richards, who was played by John Krasinski, had already traveled the multiverse. Hence, how he knew about the incursions.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if that version of Reed Richards already created a way to travel through the multiverse, what's causing Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards to be able to do the same? So that's crazy. So I think, and Victor Von Doom is also one of the smartest humans in the MCU.
838, so by the way.
838, yes. Yep, thank you. 838. But this is crazy because like seeing him there, it's like, oh crap. I was kind of wishing we got to see his face, but that's asking for too much. But this is amazing. I think he's going to hijack the Fantastic Four ship, travel to the multiverse, which is, I think this is where it's going to start, where we find out that Victor Von Doom is in the MCU, the 616.
Because, okay, so they got a subtitle at the end of the credit scene where it says the Fantastic Four will return for Avengers Doomsday. So they would have to have a reason to stop Doom. So I would think that he would take the baby.
It could be a possibility too. I didn't think about that. He could have stole the baby and then traveled in the multiverse.
Because it's like, all right, so you take the ship to the 616. See ya. You're not our problem anymore. Like, they would have to have some type of motivation to want to chase after Doom.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. He needs probable cause in order to cause Reed Richards to come after him or to get back at Reed Richards. And I think he probably does it because he probably knows what Frank is capable of the cosmic energy.
Right.
And probably is going to use it for whatever plans he has in Doomsday. And I think that's where we're getting, I think, because this is going to be this Avenger movie, Doomsday, is definitely going to be based off Doctor Doom. He's going to be the protagonist of this movie. Kind of like what we got in
Infinity War.
Thanos was the main character of that movie, and I think this is where we're going with it. This is why I believe we talked about this in the last pod. The Doctor Doom does land in the 616, and it's going to be crazy because we have multiple Avengers group assembled. And could you imagine? Because in the end credit scene for the Thunderbolts, they are aware that the ship is landing. They're about to go find this ship, and they are aware of the multiverse. It could be a possibility they have already traveled to the 828. It's a possibility, but I'm gonna speculate that they never traveled to multiverse.
Right.
I'm gonna go out a leap here, and my theory is that Doctor Doom is gonna hijack the ship, with or without Frank. My theory is that I didn't think about the Frank thing. He could have kidnapped him, but my thing is that he hijacks the ship because he knows that Reed was able to cross the multiverse. Steals the ship, lands in the 616. The new Avengers, the Thunderbolts, and the
Sam Wilson
Wilson's
Avengers.
Avengers are going to assemble, and they're probably going to have their little piece or whatever, and then they're going to find out who's in that ship, and I think it's going to be Doom. And I believe at this moment they're going to fight Doom, and Doom finds out that there is a person that looks just like him in this universe, and he's going to take advantage of it. I could see him stealing Tony Stark's technology from Stark Industries and use it to build a better armor, a suit of armor.
We might get some nanonite Doom armor.
That would be crazy. Or he could be stealing from Wakanda and make a vibranium suit like he did in the comics. And it's probably why we're gonna get the Wakandans to get involved in this movie as well, because it's supposed to be like 5 individual groups. It's supposed to have the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the New Avengers, Sam Wilson's Avengers, and did I say the X-Men already?
Yes. But we haven't got any hint of the X-Men in this movie at all, though.
Not at all yet. But we did get the post-credit scene for the Marvels where Monica Rambeau's I forget her character's name, but lands in a universe where the X-Men exist.
Right.
And it could be a possibility that is Deadpool's universe.
We think so.
Could be. I'm speculating here, but I could see it possibly. Why not tie the knots? Why not just say that that's the universe where Deadpool comes from? Oh, that's the other person I'm thinking about. Deadpool and Wolverine's universe. That's probably going to be the fifth group. Oh no, actually no. The Wakandans, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and probably the New Avengers.
I guess that's a lot to swallow, though. If we're being honest,
it's gonna be a lot, yo. It's gonna be a lot, but I think this movie's gonna be interesting. I am a little bit scared. I'm a little bit scared because we're really rushing into it, but I am also excited going forward for a new Avengers movie because we need to wrap up this multiverse shit. But overall, I'm excited. I wish we got to see I wish we got to see Robert Downey Jr. in the suit, but of course we didn't get that.
We know that wasn't him.
It wasn't him, but
no,
it had to be him. You know that they probably was like he was busy filming for the Avengers movie, so he was like, I ain't got time for this.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the upcoming Marvel projects.
But overall, bro, I'm really shocked, bro. Like I'm still stunned about what I watched. And I'm really gonna go back and see this again, bro, because this was really great, bro. It really was, and it made me forget that this is not in the 616, and it's crazy how they're in the 1960s.
All right, so check this out. Oh, my goodness. So we're pretty much done with 2025 Marvel movies. Like you got Marvel Zombies, which is an animated series, Eyes of Wakanda, which is another animated series, and then you got a live action series of Wonder Man, and that's it for 2025, right? I don't have exactly the order right now, but Doomsday comes out next year. There's no okay, so where's Shang-Chi playing into this? Because I feel like that's going to be another sector.
Shang-Chi, he's probably going to be part of Sam Wilson's crew.
You think so?
I think so, because we already got to establish the Thunderbolts and who the characters are on the squad.
Okay.
I'm speculating here. I'm just making a theory. It could be Sam Wilson, the new Falcon, Brie Larson's character, Captain Marvel, Bruce Banner, and Shang-Chi. And it could be a possibility that Doctor Strange is part of that group as well.
So you get another Spider-Man movie. That's July 31st, 2026.
And that's supposed to be connecting to Doomsday.
And then
Moments before it happened.
Doomsday premieres December 18th, 2026.
Damn.
So we just a year away. Well, almost a year away. A year and some change away. But the Spider-Man movie is a year away. Comes out July 31st.
I'm excited for this.
So, all right. I feel like we didn't talk about Galactus enough. You got pushed into the wormhole. Do we see Galactus ever again?
I believe so. I don't think he's dead. He's too powerful to be dead.
Do we see him in a possible in the future Marvel Cinematic Universe Avengers movie? Or what you thinking?
I'm thinking we're probably going to get him in another Avengers movie. Could be. It could probably be the final boss for the new phase. I mean, I don't think Galactus is dead. My theory on this, I think Galactus doesn't exist in every universe. I think he is that planet destroyer for the multiverse. That's what I think. I think I believe he's a Celestial. In the comics, he's not a Celestial, but I could see him being the counterbalance for the Celestials. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like that's what he's doing. He's destroying planets because you have the Celestial making planets. At some point, you do have to filter out the trash.
Speaking of which, because I saw some headline somewhere that they wanted to revisit a previous project, and it was between what's that movie? Eternals, and it was another movie. What was the other movie that really didn't do well that they considered going back to?
The only one I could think of is the Eternals.
Oh, it don't matter. If it's a possibility that we can get the Eternals too, and we get Galactus involved in the movie, that'd be crazy.
It would be. I'm not gonna lie to you. When they announced that Galactus was gonna be the villain, I was like, "Yo, that's too soon." Like, didn't we do this like the first go around? Like, and it wasn't that great. But
they didn't show him
overall,
in the first go around either.
well, they hinted to him,
It just showed the
and it wasn't that great of a
ship,
movie either.
but it was like a storm or something. Like, it wasn't even a ship, so you really didn't get a good idea of what Galactus was in that movie. Opposed to like you said in the trailer where you saw them go into space and they talked to Galactus, they were scared. That was pretty gangster. Like, I'm about to watch this movie again. That's how good it was. When they go into space and they actually see Galactus, he comes down. He's looking down at these folk like, "I'm Galactus. I want your child. Here you go. Just go ahead and just use my eye power and put you in labor."
I know, like when I saw the trailer, bro, and I saw Galactus, that shit had me hooked. I was like, "Wait, hold up, yo, that's Galactus? Holy shit, bro!" He not only looked amazing, but he looked terrifying, bro. Like when his eyes glowed in the dark, and he moved forward, and he was like, "I am Galactus," and then they all just got the reaction that they give this man is like, "What the fuck are you, bro?" Like they're just looking up in the air, like, "Bro, what the fuck are you?"
Mm-hmm.
I think they were assuming that this person was gonna be like somebody as tall as they are,
Right.
and then they're just like, "Oh shit, this dude is like humongous, bro." And I'm sitting there like, God, like I can see the fear. Like even Pedro Pascal's look was like, "Holy shit, bro!" Like that's him. He's that cosmic energy floating around in space. Like, and the fact that this dude, Reed Richards, was like, "Nah, we gotta go talk to Galactus." Not only did he just roll up in his crib like a gangster, bro, he walked up in there. We go talk to this dude, uninvited. I mind you, uninvited. Goes in there thinking he was gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna talk to this motherfucker, and we gonna talk him down." Be the Fantastic Four, and then like see himself like look at Galactus and shit himself was priceless, bro. I was like, "Damn, bro, what do you do? You're the smartest man in the universe," and then he's telling you his origin story. I'm centuries older than all of you, and I was given the cosmic ray in order to be the Galactus, the devourers of world. And he just standing there like, holy shit. Like, he could just, like, immediately you knew he was like, he could kill us. He could kill us if he wants to.
So there's just the thought of him being in future movies. Do you think his rank has been dropped a little bit since he got defeated by the Fantastic Four for him to appear into a Avengers movie?
I don't think his rank went down, bro. I mean, it really was it. They really beat him. No, it was really Silver Surfer that bested him. It was his own Herald.
Okay.
Remember, they were trying to get they got the wormhole to. They was waiting for him to sit on the wormhole so they could just like boom, snap him out and send him to another universe, like millions, like galaxies far away, and it would take him forever to get back. And then he was like, "Oh, y'all are smart, but you ain't that smart," because they switched Frank with a dummy. What's that thing called again?
Car seat.
Car seat.
That was a dumb plan.
That was a dumb plan because I'm thinking like, bro, like the smart, like I'm like, bro, you could come up with something better than that. Like
that, yeah, like you leave the baby by itself in the middle of Times Square, knowing he's about to come.
Yeah, but also too, like think about it. If that was your kid, would you really like let your baby just sit there like and like for your enemy to snatch him? Like you would be like, nah, I'm gonna switch it up. But I mean, it is what it is. I thought that was goofy to me. I was like, yeah, why would you do that? But I'm not gonna nitpick it. I get it. That's your kid. You don't want to lose your kid. Now let's talk about something that's serious. When they came back from that press conference, bro, and then he's sitting there trying to figure out how to deal with Galactus, and then Sue questions him like, "You thought about it, didn't you?" And he was like, "I'm a scientist. I'm sorry." She said, "Why do you?" He's like, "No, you're not giving him up." Like he even thought about giving his son up, and I'm like, "Damn, bro, you really thought about that?" Yeah, I thought no, bro. He was, bro. He's the smartest man in the universe.
He showed leadership there. He showed leadership there, where it's like, all right,
he took every possibility and thought it through.
Yeah, he thought about every single possibility, which I feel like that's probably a key leadership skill to have. Like sometimes doing the right thing, sometimes doing the wrong thing may end up being the best thing.
Yeah, which is dark. It's just a dark theme within itself. And he's also like, I'm a scientist. I have to think of every possibility. Like, and she's standing there like, you really thought about giving your own goddamn son to Galactus? Mm-hmm. And he was like he didn't say yes, but he was like, I mean, can you blame me? Like, can you blame me? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, what? We can't obviously kill the dude. And I'm thinking like, yeah, he ain't lying, bro. Like, I'm thinking about it as a sense of like logically speaking, you have to think that possibility. But at the same time, as a parent, you're never going to give up your child to basically, I don't want to say save the universe, because I feel like that's harsh. What I'm going to say is to please everybody. Nobody's going to be that selfish unless you really are that heartless. And mind you too, like as we go through this movie, that they've been trying for years to have a child, and then they finally get one. And as they get one, he went through all this. He did all these studies because they have superpowers, and his child wasn't coming out with superpowers. He was like sitting there like, oh, he's normal. Mm-hmm. And then come to find out Galactus told him, no, he's hiding his power, his true power. He's hiding it. And I'm thinking like, bro, he's just a baby. I'm gonna go to reference Dragon Ball Z, bro. It kind of feels like they're I don't want to say reference, but I feel like they're presenting like a Gohan character. Like Gohan was always strong as a child. It just he needed that motivation to bring it out of him. He always had it inside, and I'm thinking, bro. But the fact that that his son is hiding all that cosmic energy in him, and he's just innocent. Yo, can you imagine what would happen if he grew up to be evil?
All right, so I guess that could be a segue for the next question is, what is the significance of Franklin Richard in the comics, and how could it translate to the MCU?
Frank Richards' power is he's able to create universes from nothing, from just his mind alone. He is, I wouldn't want to say a godlike being because I feel like he's higher than that. Like, he has the Celestials scared of him because they know he can just create pocket universes like it's nothing with a snap of his finger. Galactus is scared of him because he's like, he knows that he could just vanish him from nothing. He doesn't. He can just say you don't exist. He's almost as powerful as the entity, Death, entity itself. I forgot the dude's name. The godlike being with the three heads.
Three heads.
Yeah. The living tribunal. He's just as strong as these characters. And it's scary. Like, he has all this power and this knowledge. Like, and in the comics too, Frank ends up learning how to master his abilities through a future version of himself. Like, an older version of himself comes to the past in order to teach him how to use his own powers for good. And this is, I believe, because I didn't read the comics. I kind of got a glimpse of it, like, through the internet. I believe that Frank was able to travel on his own with his own powers from the future to the past to talk to himself as a kid in order to teach himself how to use his powers. Bro, if that's not like, damn, I don't want to use the word like God, like a cosmic being, bro. Like, if that's not a cosmic being, I don't know what is, because that shit's scary.
It's got similarities to, well, because Franklin Richards' son is Kang, right?
What?
Isn't Franklin Richards' son Kang?
No. In the comics, Kang the Conqueror isn't a descendant of Reed Richards. I believe he's like 5 generations after Reed Richards.
5 generations. Okay. I don't know why I keep thinking that's Franklin.
I know it's he's like his long like cousin or some shit like that. Like 5 generations later, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember exactly like how many, but he is a descendant of Reed Richards.
We forget anything before we end up closing this thing out?
We gotta rate the movie.
Oh. 7.5.
7.5. I give it 8.5.
8.5.
Yes, sir. Out of all 3 movies, which one was the best this year?
This one for sure. This was definitely the most anticipated one out of all of them.
And it didn't fail. Also, does it beat Superman?
1000%.
Facts. That's all I gotta say.
I'm a Marvel guy regardless. Like, I feel like that's a biased question to ask me. And was the Superman movie good? Yes. But it's not better than this movie. This movie is, I'll give Superman a 6.5. This I'll give a 7.5.
Now, you being too generous for Superman, but hey, yo, it's your opinion. I'm not hating. I'm just saying. I don't hate on DC, bro. I want a good DC movie. It Superman's not my GOAT.
He's not your GOAT?
He's not my GOAT.